Welcome back, dear Turkish series stars family. Tonight the glow in our studio feels warmer, softer, as if the cameras themselves decided to dim their glare to listen to a heartbeat. If you think you knew everything about Alp Navruz, the calm, composed leading man who guards his private life like a sacred script, get ready to rediscover him. Tonight we don't bring hallway gossip or invented scandals, tonight we bring life. A truth whispered at first, then spoken with a tremble, then echoed everywhere. Before we dive into a confession that promises to touch you, remember this home thrives because of you. Subscribe so you never miss moments like this, leave a heartfelt like to lift us up in the algorithm and ring that bell. And for those who want to support us and unlock exclusive behind-the-scenes content, our join button is waiting. Let's begin. For what felt like ages in the entertainment universe, Alp walked like a man made of glass and granite, transparent when it came to his craft, unbreakable when it came to his boundaries. He chose silence over spectacle, restraint over rumor. But that carefully kept silence has cracked, no, it has opened like a sunrise, revealing an emotion so simple, so human, so utterly disarming that even the most seasoned columnists pause to catch their breath. It wasn't about a new project or a romance clarification. It was news that sweeps away old priorities like a tide washing ashore clean. Alp Navruz, in the gentlest of voices, revealed that fatherhood has arrived at his door, and he has opened it. It happened far from the red carpets and the flash of microphones. It happened in a calm conversation, one of those in-between moments where real life sneaks past scheduling. "I'm living the most special moment of my life," he said, and you could hear the quiet quake beneath the words. At first, it didn't register. Then came the smile, the one he couldn't hide and wouldn't hide, and the truth landed with the softest thunder. Fatherhood. A word that changes the shape of a day. A word that can turn a man into a lighthouse. The reaction was immediate. In minutes, his name was everywhere, but this time not as a headline hunting clicks. This time it was as an echo of sincerity, the first time he let the world feel how his heart sounds when it isn't muffled by professionalism. Those close to him say something in his gaze is different now, more liquid, more reflective, as if the world looks brighter because someone new will soon be seeing it. He spoke without the armor he usually wears to protect what is his. It's a mix of joy, of fear, and responsibility that overwhelms you and makes you feel clear at the same time, he admitted. You think about tomorrow differently. It stops being just about you. And because life is a duet, there she was in the story too, the brilliant, luminous presence of Alina Boss, whose calm elegance has often transformed sets into sanctuaries. Without turning this into a spectacle of intimacy, Alp acknowledged what everyone wanted to know but few dared to ask out loud. Alina stands by his side, heart to heart, both of them walking into this new chapter with hands intertwined and spirits steady. He spoke softly about protecting the parts of their journey that belong to quiet rooms and late-night whispers. He didn't list details. He didn't trade moments for headlines. There are things I want to live without cameras, in the sanctuary of our home, he said. The emotion is real and huge, but I want it to be peaceful. The sincerity landed like a lullaby. The audience applauded not as fans hungry for a scoop, but as people recognizing a kind of courage that doesn't need noise. Isn't it beautiful to see a man, famous for being composed, transformed by the tenderness of a new life? Isn't it moving to witness a woman, celebrated for her grace, holding space with strength and calm? Turkish series stars family, what tips would you share with them as they step into this chapter? Do you think this shift will reflect in the roles they choose, in the stories they bring to our screens? Share your wisdom in the comments, and if you appreciate the respect we give moments like this, consider tapping join. Your support helps us keep telling these stories with the heart they deserve. Once the confession reached the world, congratulations poured in like sunshine after a sleepless night. Colleagues wrote messages that felt less like industry notes and more like love letters to a new era. Friends said it was always clear. Alp carries a responsibility that doesn't broadcast itself but vibrates in his choices. And many pointed at Alina's steady warmth, saying she has long had the grace of someone who understands the weight and wonder of care. Industry insiders weren't surprised. He's always been conscientious, one said, a comment that felt like the quiet truth at the center of their circle. No sudden declarations about career changes came that day, but Alp hinted at an evolution you could feel. Work matters, of course, he said, clear as glass, but it isn't everything anymore. The sentence settled like a promise. It sounded like the beginning of a reordering, a willingness to build a life where the brightest spotlight is a nightlight glowing in a small room. For many who have watched their rise, the moment marked the start of a softer era, one that doesn't abandon ambition but stitches it to something deeper, presence. Beyond the euphoria, Alp spoke of fatherhood like a masterclass with no textbook. It makes you look inward, he said. You ask yourself who you are, what you want to pass on. Those words found an instant audience, the kind that nods in the dark. There are roles you can rehearse 1,000 times, this isn't one of them. There's no perfect take, no fixed script. No one teaches you how to be a father. You find it as you go, mistake by mistake, he admitted with humility. And then the kind of honesty that catches the breath, there are nights when I wake up and wonder if I'll be enough. It didn't sound like doubt to freeze a man. It sounded like respect for a task that turns you new. Those close to the couple say routines have already shifted. The calendar, once a battlefield of calls and contracts, now bends to quieter priorities. Fewer public appearances. More closed doors. Books about parenting on the table. Conversations about emotional presence and how to be not just near, but attentive. I want to learn to be present, he repeated more than once, and it felt like a vow. Presence for him isn't simply being in the room, it is being in the moment, listening, answering, staying. Alina, ever the careful listener, is said to be the heartbeat beside that vow, reminding him that love doesn't need to be performed to be true. The talk inevitably drifted to the past, as it always does when the future appears in tiny form. Alp didn't unpack childhood in dramatic detail, that isn't his way. But he acknowledged that becoming a father invites a kind of reckoning. You revisit your past when you're building someone else's tomorrow, he said. The sentence landed like a lantern in a memory garden. It hinted at decisions about what to repeat and what to rewrite, about which stories become lullabies and which become lessons. When asked what kind of father he wants to be, he didn't list achievements. He chose a feeling. Present, he said. Even in silence. Not perfect, not endless, not larger than life. Present. The kind of presence that children feel with their skin more than they explain with their words. Children feel more than they understand, he added, a line that sounded like he'd been carrying it around for a long time, waiting for the right day to speak it out loud. And what about Alina? Her voice in this chapter is steady water. Those who saw her that day say she didn't need to make a speech, her eyes did the speaking, that quiet way she has of loosening everyone's shoulders. She is the partner who knows how to keep the world outside when the room needs to be small. She has been careful with what belongs to them and generous with what belongs to the audience, the art, the work, the stories. It looks like she plans to keep it that way. A whisper among friends said she smiled when Alp said he wanted to be present, the kind of smile that holds a whole sentence, I know. In this first true opening to the world, Alp didn't just share good news, he showed us the room inside his chest. No theatrics, no melodrama, just the humanness of a man ready to hold something more delicate than a trophy and more demanding than a premiere. He stood there as the exact person we always suspected he might be, and beside him, Alina stood as the compass we believed her to be. Together they looked less like celebrities and more like what they've always secretly been, two people in love, about to learn a love that changes shape every day. Today, the industry sees them differently. Not only as beautiful professionals who carry stories to our screens, but as people who have invited a new story into their lives. The one that doesn't need applause to be real. The one played in whispers and held with both hands. The most important roles, the ones no critic can grade, the ones that happen at home. A blanket. A late-night walk back and forth across a room. A soft voice saying I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. As we close this chapter for tonight on Turkish series Stars, we breathe in the gentleness of what they've shared. What do you think of Alp's vow to be a present father? What do you think of Alina's serene strength by his side? We believe they will be extraordinary. If this touched you, tap like to celebrate this new beginning, subscribe so you can keep walking with them, and share this story with everyone who believes in love that grows. And remember, our join button is there for those who want to keep this home shining, quietly and steadily, just like the light in a nursery down the hall. To Alp, Navruz and Alina Boss, we send our warmest congratulations. May your days slow down where they need to, may your nights be kind when they can, and may your hearts stay as brave and soft as they are tonight. The cameras will wait. The world will wait. The story you hold now is the one that teaches even the stars how to glow. And when that tiny hand curls around a finger, when the world falls away and the room completes itself, remember what you promised and what she promised with that knowing smile. Be there. Be there. Be there. The rest can wait. From all of us at Turkish series Stars, good night, and welcome to the most beautiful role either of you will ever play.